Hey, it's Big J. We're out here in Wasilla doing a little video on how to uh, cook for an SCA cook-off. We're going to show you how to trim a steak, how to cook a steak, then we'll have some judges come and judge our steaks and get some of their ideas of what they're looking for. We're starting up the PK Go with about 25 B&B briquettes. I like the oak briquettes. I like oak because it's the best wood I think out there. Oak and pecan. So we just start this chimney up, let it get all white and hot. I'll put it on one side, put my grill grates on, let them get up to about 550 degrees, and then we'll do a sear, flip it, sear, and sear, and see where we're at. So usually when I pick a steak, I like to look for, the tri-heart, which would be a little muscle right there, but this is it's got a nice spinalis, so definitely want to keep a good spinalis on there. That's what the judges score for taste. They judge on this for texture, for looks, or for the doneness, I guess you would call it. So they test this for your tenderness and taste, right? Is that right? Yeah. So I take this tail off. Just take all this white fat off. You don't want the judges, they won't eat from here, but it's going to look a lot better without it on there. Just want to get rid of that fat so the judge doesn't chew on that. That'll cost you points. Sometimes I'll take some scissors, just kind of trim up a little bit. I'm just doing a quick one here today because, just want to get through this. So if this was a real competition, I would take a lot longer and take my time. And so when you're doing your steak, you want to pick a show side, which you're going to put down on the grill first, because that's always when you get your best sears. I like to cut as much of this fat out as I can. I'm not going to go too crazy at this, so we'll just go with that for now. All right. So we'll tie this thing together so it doesn't fall apart. I like to put the knot down here at the. So I try to make this face the way I'm going to put it in a box. So I put the knot there just so I know which side is going to be the bottom of it. Sometimes I'll do two knots, two twines. This is pretty thick, so I'm just going to stick it with some pins. How about that? Let's make it simple. So again, the pins also help keep it together, and you can make them kind of as like a compass, so you know which way to turn your steak, and you can keep, track of things like that. A good tip is to count, or use the same amount of steaks every time. That way you know how many to pull out, because you don't want one of these in there or you will be disqualified. So I do 4 no matter what, because that's Ramon's lucky number. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of this fat out because it's going to puff up on you. Oh, I forgot to marinate or tenderize. We'll do it now anyway. So I like this little thing. It's really easy to throw in the dishwasher. It's also easy for my beard. It's seasoning, right? See, that one you gotta watch where you put your pins. That one's poking through the top. Whoop. So there I like to use I guess it's not really a marinade. I just kind of put some wet stuff on there as a binder. So some fish sauce to give it a fake dry aged flavor, I guess, some umami. I also like to put a little bit of au jus prep for that extra beefiness. Just a little splash. And I'll stick that and get that in there somehow. And I'll flip it, do this side. Little funk on it. A little beefiness. And I don't wait to, season. I like to get it all over with so I can hang out with my buddies and drink beer, because that's the funnest part about the SCA, is hanging out with your buddies and cooking some meats, having some beers. It's a blast. So I like to start with this White Lightning spicy. Nice layer of that. We'll do some tenderizer because you never know. Could be a tough steak. I'm going to try something new today, some umami mushroom herb. Smells good. Let me give it a little Asian flavor maybe. And then I like to use a mixture of Wild Smokes coffee steak rub and my own beef rub, and I grind it together in a spice grinder to make it real fine. Because the big chunks I always seem to like burn, I think. So put a layer of that on. And then the blue wino, this stuff is amazing. It's like blue cheese and a burgundy wine. It smells so good. I usually put that on top there. Then I'll finish it off with some of this too, in a little finger grinder. So I should have a cookie sheet so I can put this over and not mess up the rub on that side, but we're just having fun today. So again, I'll start with spicy White Lightning. Do a little bit more tenderizer. These were the cheap steaks. I didn't buy the good stuff. Hey, here's one of our judges right now. This is Eric Ross. He's one of our favorite SCA judges. All right, then we'll let that sweat. I usually do that I'll let it sit out for a couple hours until it's ready to cook, So that's how I season my steaks. So I like to season the food, not the grates, because sometimes it'll leave a bitter taste if it burns. So I use some avocado oil. It's a high heat oil. I think we'll be all right. So show side down. I like to go at a 45. Press it down, put a weight on. Make sure you put your weight so it doesn't get crushed by your lid. And then I set my timer for 1.5 minutes. And then we wait. Pop that weight off. So pick it up. You don't want to just ram it. You want to it might stick a little bit, so I just kind of ease it up so you don't ruin your grill grate marks. Clean her off. I like to spray the bottom side. And I put this guy at a 90-degree angle from, I used the spatula to guide me. So you can do a 45 or you can do a 90 for squares. The weight back on. Now this is going to probably give me a weird grill mark because I'm too close to the edge here. And this is going to mess up my weight. So all the weight's going to be on that side. So I'm not even sure I want to put that on there. Alright, it'll close all right. So now it's time to see how we did on that side. But and you can see I tied my string too tight too. It did that Michelin Man thing. So when you tie your knot, make sure your meat or your it's just loosely on there. It's not to form it to any kind of shape. It's just to keep it together, to keep this muscle from coming off when you're cooking it. All right. So when we get to the the third timer, this is when I start checking for temperature. This grill's running pretty hot, so I might flip it one more time. We're looking for, I like to go with 132 in the heart there for a perfect medium. So I'm going to flip it one more time at a 45. See, it's stuck. You're going to clean all that stuff out between the grates too, or you're going to get a bitter taste, which you don't want. I also don't like to put a steak weight on my show side because sometimes it'll smear it'll just smear. Like, look at the bottom of that thing. You don't want that on top of there. I'm going to hit it up with a little finishing dust. It's that blue wino, and I like to use the Big D's grill peel. So I mix the two together. Just give it a couple good coat of it. Then I'll pop it off. So we'll pretend this plate is the box. So I want them to cut this like that, and I want them to eat from that. So we'll take this off. Take our pins out. I had 4 of them, remember? I always do 4. There it is, and then we'll turn that in.